Fort Lauderdale, Florida, a jury Thursday recommended Nicholas Cruz get life in prison for killing 17 people at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in 2018, sparing Cruz from a death sentence after his lawyers argued he had a troubled upbringing, including allegations his biological mother abused drugs. The sentence caps an emotional 3-month trial in which victim relatives and survivors recounted the Valentine's Day massacre in painful detail. The 12-member jury deliberated for 7 hours before reaching their decision in the deadliest U.S. mass shooting case to go to trial. On each of the counts, jurors found that prosecutors had established aggravating factors, including that the murders were especially cruel and heinous, indicating that the case met the threshold for death penalty eligibility. But they also decided that the most egregious elements of the attack did not outweigh the mitigating factors presented by defense attorneys. As the verdicts were being read, many parents of the victims gently shook their heads. One juror clutched a tissue, wiping tears from her eyes. Cruz mostly stared down at a desk. Later, as victims' family members left the courtroom, some relatives sobbed and collapsed into each other's arms. Several lashed out angrily at the jurors, accusing them of too easily buying into the defense's argument that Cruz suffered from mental illness. How could mitigating factors apply to this shooter, who they recognized committed terrible acts, shooting some victims more than once, pressing the barrel of his weapon to my daughter's chest? Asked Tony Montalto, whose 14-year-old daughter Gina was killed in the school. That doesn't outweigh that poor little what's-his-name had a tough upbringing? The gunman had already pleaded guilty to 17 counts of premeditated first-degree murder, and jurors had to decide on his sentence for each count. Cruz also wounded 17 other students and school staff members during his rampage in Parkland, Florida, a prosperous Fort Lauderdale suburb bordering the Everglades. The shooting galvanized students in Parkland and elsewhere to speak out against gun violence, leading to the creation of the student-led March for Our Lives gun control movement. The shooting, which Cruz carried out when he was 19, also accelerated school safety and security measures nationwide and prompted debate over arming teachers in the classroom. Although the trial was designed to help South Florida heal after Cruz's heinous crimes shattered families and left Parkland students struggling with lifelong trauma, it also sparked a discussion over capital punishment as well as whether society should show any sympathy to killers who may be mental. Cruz's sentencing trial featured weeks of gruesome, emotional testimony that included video of how he wandered the hallways of the school with an AR-15 rifle, shooting some of his victims at point-blank range.